Hello and welcome to Georgia Site's online tatting classes. This is the second of many to come tat-alongs, and this pattern here is the Tatted flower brooch, and it is created by Linda Davies. She was very sweet to allow us to use this in class and to do a tat-along. Now, down below in the description box, you will have a link to this pattern to Linda's site. You'll also have other links for your tools and supplies that you may need for this pattern and other projects as well. So, let's get on with it. For this pattern, what you're going to need is 2 colors of thread, okay? Now, I'm using a light green Aunt Lydia's size 10 and an Aunt Lydia's size 10 white. You're going to need 2 tatting shuttles. You won't use them in conjunction with each other, but when you're finished with the main part of the brooch, then you're going to move on to the other color. So I always keep the second shuttle for the second color. Alright, you're going to need picot gauges, and these are the wooden picot gauges that Georgia Sites has up on her website. They're made out of wood, they're stained, and they're smooth, so they don't snag your thread. And her husband makes these, and she has them up on her site. I love these picot gauges, but I'm going to give you a bit of advice. If you're going to use these, use them at home. They do not have a little hook or anything on them, so chances of losing them out when you're out and about is, you know, very good. If you lose them at home, you've got a better chance of finding them than you do if you take them with you when you're at the doctor's or at a friend's or whatever. So get your picot gauges, okay? Because you're going to need to measure your picots. You want your picots even. Now for this tat-along, I'm not going to be using the picot gauge because it's a constant pick it up, and that takes time, and last thing I want to do is waste time. So here we go. You're going to need some beads. Yes, I do advise for this project, invest and get you some good beads. Don't buy the cheap plastic ones or the cheap glass ones. Get you some check beads, some Miyuki beads, something that is a really good bead, that the cut on the bead is uniform, and that means that the holes are cut properly and the size of the bead is cut even throughout. Okay, so you're not getting one big huge bead and then one little bead. Alright, you're also going to need fasteners. These are called pin backs, okay, and you buy them at most craft stores. Walmart carries them. Many places that carry craft supplies will have these. It's something common. You get a bag of them, and you pick the size based on the size of what you're making. Okay, these are, I believe, the 3/4 inch, maybe an inch. I'm not for sure. I just had these in my stash and don't remember the size. I usually just grab what I need for what I'm working on. Okay, so needless to say, you'll need the pin backs. You'll also need some floss threaders. That is used to thread the beads onto the tatting shuttle, the thread on the shuttle. Okay, you're also going to need something if you need to open your rings. These are what they call hackle pliers. Anything will work, hemostats, things like that. What you do is you open them up, grab the thread, and open your ring. Okay, they're really easy to use. These fit nicely in those little Altoid tins if you're going to take your tatting with you and drop it in your purse. Okay, you're also going to need your crochet hook or your tatting pin. Alright, and last but not least, you are going to need a good pair of close cutting scissors. Okay, now that is your tools. You also, at the very tail end of this, you're going to need a good glue. Okay, now any of these 3 glues will work. Okay, but you want something strong, something that will hold up. My favorite is the GS Hypo Cement. It holds, it can be washed, it can be done. I mean, you can do a multitude of things with the brooch when it's done, and it will not come apart. Okay, so that is my go-to. All right, but for if you're making this for your daughter or something and you feel like it's going to get some wear and tear and it might get tore up, go with something like the E6000 or even the Tacky Glue. Okay, and you want to use clear for the simple fact you don't want the white glue to show. All right, so now let's get on with that. Here is the brooch that I tatted up. Now, Linda tatted these up and gave them to the instructors at Tat Days back in September, and I fell in love with it. Okay, I have to be honest with you. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pattern, and it has a multitude of uses. This is the brooch. It has the pin back attached. Now, can you imagine it as a bracelet? What about as a choker? Pair of earrings. You could tat this up in even smaller thread and make a pair of earrings. Would that not be beautiful? Have a match set. You could make hair bows. Think outside the box. Okay? The door's open. You can use this for so much. You can use it as an embellishment. You can attach it to a lapel. Okay? Make a couple of them and have little rosettes on both lapels. Alright, so there's some ideas. Now, the next video I will show you how we get started with the pattern. But what you're going to do first is you're going to wrap your thread on your shuttle, between the shuttle and the ball, continuous thread method. You will feed your beads on your shuttle thread before you even wind it on the shuttle. You do not want a break in the thread. Okay, so with that in mind, in the next video, we'll get into the pattern. But first, I want to tell you guys, I get comments all the time. Where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? This here used to be a curler set. I know you ladies remember the Caruso hair setters. Well, mine bucked the kick it. And when it bucked the kick it, I kept the rollers. And I thought, I know I can find a use for these. Well, guess what? They make great thread holders. And these little caps that came with it cover that thread and keep the dust off. So if you have a Caruso set and it's shot, take the foam off, clean it up real good, use it for a thread holder, and it won't let dust get in there. And you can put labels on this that tells what thread's in there. Is that not the neatest thing? I mean, it was in there in my craft closet of, I want to do something with this and I just don't know. Well, now I know. So I'm letting you girls know, and all you tatters know, that the Caruso hair setting system, when it dies, it has a second life. Alright? So until the next video, happy tatting, and I'll see you in the next video when we get into the pattern. Alright, thank you so much for watching.